artist Andrews is creating magic in your ears and blowing us away with every single song. With his most recent release, Sickness and Hell with Zealyn, we were graced with such an emotional song, and it's so amazing, and I'm very excited to chat with you today. Welcome to the show, Andrews.
Hello. Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, of course. Just to get things started, what was the first thing you listened to today?
That's a great question. Normally I just start my day with jazz music, and so...
Okay.
Well, that's not true today. I watched an episode of The Sopranos, and then I listened to some Bill Evans on the train.
Heck yeah, heck yeah. I've been really into the Lumineers in the last year, so they released their new track, and I was like, on repeat.
On repeat. I don't really do repeat very well. I don't know why.
Really?
Maybe 2 times and then I'm tapped out. I'm too ADD for multiple.
I'm like the queen of just, if I, like, when the band Camino released their record, I mean, granted, it's however many songs on repeat, but it was just like over and over again.
Yeah, that new record of theirs is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was awesome. And I saw them in Nashville when they did the show with Valley, and that was just an insane set.
Yeah, they're really good. They're awesome.
Yeah. So, how did you get into music? What is your kind of like romantic tale that has gotten you to where you are today?
Yeah, I was forced to take piano lessons as a kid and fought it for the longest time, and then quit. Probably when I was 14 or so or something, and then kind of just fell back in love with it. Along the way, I kind of relearned piano in my own way and picked up guitar, and so yeah, that was my kind of original, I guess, intro to it. I grew up playing in the church world as well, so you know, as a lot of kids do, got thrown into like playing whatever, like youth group way too fucking early. So, yeah, that's kind of the short gist of it. Yeah.
For sure. And you're originally from New York, lived in Nashville, now you're in New York. When did you move away from Florida? Did you have any experience like in that music scene?
Yeah. So I'm originally from Florida, and I was there kind of my whole life, and wasn't super connected to the scene there. Like, I mean, I started whatever my high school band, and did that whole thing way too long. But the scene there, it's now pretty thriving, and there's a lot of cool artists and bands doing shit there. And but when I was growing up, it was very very small, and it's funny to watch your hometown become like a cool place or whatever, and there's people moving there from other cities to make music, and I'm like, this is so strange, but I'm really, I still have a few good friends there that are doing it, and yeah, it's really cool. I'm from Jacksonville Beach, Florida.
Oh yeah.
Really small town where the beach part is, and yeah, it's a really cool place. I like to go back when I can, but I can't do it more than like a week. I go crazy.
That's fair. The heat and humidity alone, like that, as soon as I'm off the plane, normally I fly into Orlando,
Mm-hmm.
I step off in that just terminal area, I'm just like, this is disgusting. Why did I do this?
Brutal. Yeah. As I'm going there this weekend for a week, but yeah.
Prayers up, dude.
Yeah.
So how did that differ from, obviously Nashville is like such a thriving place, and then you're in New York. So how has that, like the music scenes differed for you?
It's kind of been, it's been a weird journey, honestly, to where I'm at in New York now. I was originally gonna be more like LA based, and then kind of split my time between Nashville, and I go back to Nashville a bunch now. Which I didn't really foresee happening, but I think Nashville, it's a really cool place for music. A lot of people doing music there. For me, it was like just a little too saturated, and like it was just all my friends were in music, and it was just a little exhausting for me.
Mm-hmm.
I think any career field you do, especially creative, like if you're only around you know, those kinds of people, it can be a little draining. Not that I didn't love those people, it's just like begins to be the only thing you talk about, and I was like, "Ah, I don't want this." So um, naturally, I was drawn to kind of spending, this mid 20s part of my life in a bigger city. And I've spent time in LA. I have family out there, and we've done music out there for a bit, and just never really felt like home. And New York, I had a lot of good friends up here, and one of my best friends was moving up here, and they just kind of made sense. So, um, yeah, that's kind of how I got here to New York. But yeah, the music scene here is really thriving, and it's cool. Like people, there's like a lot of creatives, and not necessarily as much industry, I would say, as like Nashville, which just kind of makes for people making art just because they love it, and
Yeah.
that's really what I'm more drawn towards. And yeah, even just in my first few months, I've gotten to work with people that have really just that's their main thing. It's like just making art, and none of the rest matters, and it's really cool. It's been super healthy for me.
That's awesome. And the how you mentioned like being around creative people all the time and then it's just really exhausting because it is. I went to school for TV production, and all of the film folk. So very similar in the way that the culture is, especially when you're consistently around those types of people and everybody has their like big head moments and you know this Quentin Tarantino film. Like it's top tier. And everyone loves to share their opinions way more much so than you really want them to.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Which I feel like everyone goes through that in their own right. So
Yeah, for sure. It's just like an interesting, like very broadly felt thing
oh
in any creative field.
yeah, definitely.
So how did you get into like what type of music you make? I think that your voice is just like super soulful and there's just like a lot of color in it. And like it's just I feel like there's a lot of different like texture in your voice almost. So how did you like get to decide like this is what you were gonna do?
Um, Great question. Thank you.
Of course.
I I think it was like I more fell in love with the production side of things first, and not that I was necessarily like a producer by any means at first, but I was in love with the idea of like just being in a room with somebody and making like the sonic kind of landscape of a song prior. Um, and that's kind of how it originally started. And then kind of slowly built, I guess, the songwriting side of it. But all that being said, I think yeah, I mean, obviously I pull from a lot of different influences, but really it just kind of started from like I used to do this thing where I had this silly little small piano. It's back there, and it's battery powered, and I would just like put it on my bed in the morning and kind of make up songs. And that's how all my music kind of is birthed. It's just like waking up in the morning or late at night and just like honestly a voice like incoherent voice memo, and then I later translate it into um, something that's a little bit more, I don't know, better received. So yeah, it's definitely like pretty intimate songs that are a lot of times meant to, I don't know, listen by yourself. I mean, but yeah, the sonic side of it, I want it to feel like you can, you know, be dancing in a room to it. So I like to find a combo of the two. Um, so yeah, I'm not really. I don't even really consider myself like a. I know a lot of amazing like vocalists, and that's like their thing. And that's like the furthest thing down my list. Like, um, so yeah, I just kind of write what feels naturally to me, and then try to make the sound and the track behind it be as um, lively as possible, lively as I deem fit at the time. So
So, you mentioned producers, producing. So do you have any producers that you would love to work with in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, I feel like I only know the big ones, but I guess I really like the record that I'm writing now is more full bandy and
Mm-hmm.
meant to feel like you're in a band. And yeah, I think like Rostam would be really cool. Um, just think of like New York people. Jack, obviously.
Yeah, I would do anything to have musical talent just so I could work with him.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I think I'm pretty sure I saw him like walking down the street the other day. I wanted to fangirl, but I couldn't.
Excuse me, Mr. Antonoff.
Sir,
2 seconds.
I need the rest of your day. Thank you.
Yeah.
Uh,
Let's hit the studio right now.
right now. I will empty my savings. But yeah, I definitely think those two would be really cool. Like here in New York, Andrew Goldstein probably
Oh yeah,
the big one. But yeah, yeah, those would be a dream come true.
that's awesome. I mean, listen, if I knew Mr. Antonoff, I'd call him right now and I'd pull some strings. But we're getting there. We're getting
One
there.
day, if you're listening, Jack.
Yeah, I would probably lose my
Sorry,
mind first, and then
Mr. Anthony.
excuse me. Yeah. Um, So I originally heard you on one of Wade's playlists, and I'm trying to remember which song it was. I wrote it down because I was gonna forget. Oh, are you gonna want your stuff back with Hail?
Yes.
Hail?
Yeah.
Which was incredible, and then I was like, okay, let me listen to some more, which was great. And you just released Sickness and Hell with Zealyn. Can you talk about the inspiration behind it? Obviously, there's like a lot of emotions happening there. So can you talk about that?
Yeah. What if I just started weeping in that moment?
I would feel a little bad,
No.
and then I'd be like, "Fuck."
Yeah, interview over. No, so in Zealand, we've been good friends, me and her husband DJ. I've been good friends for a while. I stay with them like every time I'm in LA. They're just really sweet people, and yeah, we were writing a few years back. We figured out the date. I think it was November of 2019, like right before the pandemic and stuff, and at the start of the pandemic. And yeah, we were just writing and kind of struggling to like figure out anything, and then we kind of stopped. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, just stopped writing. We're just kind of catching up and talking. And then I remember saying that that the opening line of the chorus, just pretty casually, which is I always thought you'd be better with somebody else, and we were just like, man, that would be. We were like, man, maybe that's like what we need to talk about. And then I jokingly like said or sung that melody or something like that, and I was like, what if we just said this exact thing instead of trying to spice it up? And they were like, actually, this is kind of cool. So, which I find a lot of times my jokes, there's some inner like, oh, maybe there's some truth there. Maybe that should just be what it is, what I said. So yeah, it kind of just stemmed from that, and then yeah, I was kind of in a longer relationship at the time, and they were kind of there for me in moments that I was like questioning it, and yeah, it stemmed from like, man, this isn't right, and I don't feel adequate in this whole relationship, and it just kind of stemmed from that first line, which is, yeah, like, I just always thought you'd be better with somebody else because I don't have my shit together, kind of thing. And yeah, so it stemmed from there, and then the whole idea with the Sickness and Hell was we, again, it kind of stemmed from a joke, was like, what if we like took wedding vows and like made, but instead of health we did hell, just because it was like super intense kind of thing. So yeah, it kind of just stemmed from that. Some we both forward, like relationship stuff that went into it. But yeah, I was really happy with the way it turned out, and I was super happy to do it with good friends of mine. It was a blast. So Angie,
Yeah.
or Zealyn, if you're listening, I hope we can do it again.
So you said you originally wrote it in late 2019. So how was the process for that production and all of that? Because it's more
Shit
recently
show.
released.
It's truly a shit show. I'm not allowed to cuss on you. I've done it like 10 times.
No, go for
10
it.
times already. Yeah, we wrote it out there, and then one of my best friends, John Luke, we produced. I'm trying to remember at the timeline actually. We wrote it in 2019, and then I really only make like records. I don't do like singles, and that sounds so pretentious, but I just don't like the idea of doing singles. It's never, just doesn't make sense with who I am as a person. Nothing against it at all. So I was kind of getting ready to. I finished my first record, and I was sitting on a bunch of songs, and we went to go do this. We started the second record, and that was one of them. And we just did it in my studio basement in Nashville before I moved here. And yeah, so we started it. We sent it back a few times. She did vocals on it. But yeah, after that first day, then now I'm thinking about it, we never were in the same room together for it, which was
Wow.
crazy. She FaceTimed in a few times, but or Zoomed in, but yeah, it was kind of a little bit of a cluster, but it was fun. It was okay.
You're like, it was a shit show, but it was a good shit show.
Yeah, exactly. Organized people.
So you mentioned your record, which is a self-titled record. You released it in November 2020. Kind of on the same note, obviously not a great time to release a record. Everyone is like, so how was that for you, like releasing that and the production process behind that one? Was it all kind of like virtual on your own? Or did you kind of like play COVID rules and do what you could when you can and so forth and so on?
Yeah, well, that one was different because that was like I wanted to do a few EPs leading up into the record.
Mm-hmm.
So I went into it with the idea of I'm going to release this full-length record for the self-titled, but I want to do it in segments. So that one wasn't actually during the pandemic at all, or during, I guess, 2020 at all. I think some of it, maybe wrapping some of it up. But yeah, a lot of that was already done.
Nice.
So yeah, and I did that. That was when that was kind of like my intro to Nashville and meeting a lot of people and just figuring it out along the way. And I worked with probably too many people on it. Not in a bad way. It just was like a little chaotic. But yeah, I always liked the idea of doing a self-titled for my first record. And yeah, it was done in like 3 EPs and then released all together with a few more songs. So.
Heck yeah. Did you, kind of, with everything that happened last year, did you have touring plans and have to get canceled? I know you've done a few shows with So Far.
Hence coming back, yeah, no, I do a lot with them here just in New York because they have endless shows, which is awesome. I've loved it. But yeah, I did have touring plans get canceled, unfortunately. But as of now, we're just planning some one-off, like kind of bigger city shows. Other than that, not a ton. We're like working on it, but it's just a tricky time. So
yeah. So off of your self-titled Baby Blue, a jam. I'm kind of obsessed with the guitars in it. Very well done. And you released a video with it, which was beautifully done. It really puts you in the emotion of the song. So with that being said, and kind of your overall aesthetic, which is very strong, are you kind of like the lead creative director when it comes to that, especially like with the video, and then obviously everything else?
kind of. I've always been like I feel like more of a team builder than like necessarily like, oh, I'm good at a few things. So I really try to surround myself with talented people that are gifted in their own areas. So yeah, as far as creative direction goes, for the most part, I kind of just I like working with friends, and I like creating like the things I know I want out of something, or like the original vision for it. And then I really just say like, hey, sit with this. I want your own kind of taste and stamp on it. So yeah, I've always operated in that way, where I say this is what I'm thinking, but like do your own thing, and then we can kind of meet back up. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing that. I think in an ideal world, I would like have like one person that I do all that with. It's just, and I desire that. It just hasn't clicked yet with anybody. So yeah, one day.
Which I mean, like I said, like everything is like very impressive in regards of everything is cohesive, and it's so hard to do that, especially using multiple people and multiple like eyes, and
Yeah.
everybody has opinions yet again, and I just think it's really impressive. Your Instagram feed all looks the same, which is very impressive.
That's surprising to me. I'm not. I don't do it. I don't do any of my social media. I probably shouldn't say that, but what I am saying is I'm horrible at social media, and luckily, I have somebody, Kelsey, that helps, and she's phenomenal. I just don't have. I'm not good at social media whatsoever. But one of these days, I'll stop being a millennial and do TikTok.
I was gonna say that was gonna be my follow up. If you had plans on being a TikToker,
It's in the works. Me and the uppers. We're no, I'm sorry.
My people call your people.
No, I it's just never felt really. I actually don't even have a personal like Instagram or anything. But it's never felt that natural to me. But I basically was like, yeah, let's get like a lot of stuff ready, so I don't have. I'll do like 6 months worth of content, and then I don't want to think about TikTok for like a year. Like,
yeah,
that's how I want to operate for the time being. So
that's fair. I don't blame you. And it's really interesting. I don't know your thoughts and like what you listen to personally, but TikTok has been such a musical discovery medium lately, and I think it's bizarre.
yes.
But I think it's kind of crazy because I know a lot of the stuff I listen to either comes from like playlists like curated directly by Spotify, or like I follow Wade's playlist, and that's where I listen to a lot of stuff and discover stuff. So it's like, where the fuck am I supposed to look now? And everybody's like, oh, TikTok too. I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Let me breathe.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we are always just thrown so much shit in our American modern coddled life. But yeah, I do think it's a good platform, but I definitely was rooting for the shutdown of TikTok.
You're like, I support it, but like, please, somebody get
For
down.
all my
I'm
like
tired
500 followers on TikTok, I'm so sorry if you're listening.
They're just like, we just want to see TikTok dances.
It'll happen eventually. I see it.
So you kind of teased this earlier that you're working on another album, sorts. What can you say about that?
Can't say anything. It's all
okay.
non-today. Yeah, so I started releasing the second record, which, yeah, I started with a single and then 2 songs with friends. And there's a few more songs with friends, and then I kind of ramp up into it more in the new year. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. Shooting a little short film for it, which will be cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it'll be like 3 consecutive music videos, 1 storyline, and all that's getting started in the new year, and I'm very, very excited for that. Yeah, the record is called Friendship Bracelet, and it's just kind of about over romanticizing your past and kind of wanting to be a kid again in a lot of ways. And yeah, a lot of that's already done. I did that in the music side of it. I did that in like right before I left Nashville, and it felt like a good parting ways of Nashville. No, I go back a lot, but it was just kind of in a lot of ways really good timing with where I was at. So yeah, and then I moved up here, and then I have a studio. I have a home studio in like a commercial spot that I'm starting the third record, and so just kind of, I'm slowly writing it and producing it. I want to do it right. So yeah, that's kind of the general gist of records and things.
That's very exciting, and you're just like, not even out is number 2, but we're starting 3, which is incredible, impressive,
It's really too far in advance, and I battle with that quite a bit. But yeah, it's the only way I really know how to operate. So I'm excited about it all.
And you mentioned earlier that it's going to be the second record is going to be quote unquote. You said something full bandy.
No, that'll be the third one. The third one.
Third, okay.
Yeah, the third's like more of a full band kind of record, or more leaning towards that.
Mm-hmm.
The second one is probably a good in between my first record and what I'm going for in the third. So yeah, I'm really excited about it. Part of me wishes some of the second record was more full bandy, but I'll get there.
Well, look, we got time.
Yeah,
you want me to hop on the drums? I can't play them, but I'll try.
That's all we got in this world is just time. So.
So this is all kind of part of the same conversation of next year. So besides the insane amount of music you're about to release, which is very exciting, is there any other plans for 2022 touring? I know you said not so much yet.
Yeah,
dates here and there.
I will be doing one longer tour that I'm excited about, and then we're talking to like a few festivals, which will be cool.
Yeah.
The booking world is it's always up and down, so it's just you try not to get your hopes up. I've been doing a lot of college shows, which have been really cool. Ton of so fars. Have that one tour, a few festivals. And I hope we'll get to do like a proper support slot type thing. That's kind of what we're going for the new year as far as live shows. I love playing live. It's besides like being in a room and producing a record, that's like my second favorite part. So I was very sad when the pandemic happened, and especially just plans falling through and all that. But yeah, I'm excited for the new year and shows and stuff. I have like a smaller one here in New York next week.
Exciting.
Yeah, it'd be cool. It's like
if you can plug it if it's not past Saturday or if it's after.
Yeah. It's no, this Saturday.
No. The 7th. I know my brain words. When is it? Oh gosh.
Well, if you're listening to this, I retroactively played a show. I played a show this past Tuesday in New York. It went so well.
It was so great. I was there.
It was
10 out of 10.
It was sold out. It was. Oh, I'm kidding.
They had to move it to the bigger bar.
We just went to the streets. I'm excited.
It was MSG.
I believe that's my first full. No, I played a show back in Nashville. That was my first full band show back, which was really fun. But yeah, I'm excited to do more.
What is your like ideal kind of touring situation? Like, do you like it to be more intimate, or would you rather it be kind of like loud with the band, like kind of thing?
Yeah, I really like both. I've really contemplated. I used to do house shows a ton with a buddy of mine, and I really thought it'd be fun, no matter what point this like Andrews goes as a project. I've always thought it'd be cool to do like one house show tour a year, And just like pick a coast and see friends and just make it a thing once a year. Probably like in the spring or the fall, something like that. So I'm gonna do one of those this year, hopefully. And yeah, I always thought that'd be really fun. But on top of that, yeah, I love loud, big rooms. They're awesome, and I love. Honestly, I'd rather play to a like stoked crap like 300 cap sold out room than an empty arena any night. So that's all I can hope for.
Yeah, I mean, I think even as like a fan of music, I think those smaller packed shows are way better than the large ones. Like, a few years ago, I saw All Time Low in like a 500 cap venue, and it was like, it was just a weird feeling because it was like they shouldn't be playing that venue, but it was like the best show I've ever seen from them.
Totally.
Because I've seen them play like
Yeah.
stupid size arenas, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like it's just kind of like, eh.
Yeah.
But the energy's unmatched.
Maybe I'll just keep doing 300 cap rooms and then slowly bump up the ticket prices every year. I'm just kidding.
There you go. It's business, right?
Yeah.
Who's the favorite concert you've seen live?
Great question. Favorite ever or recently?
How about one of each?
Set myself up for that one. I guess I can do recently first. I guess I haven't been to a ton. Recently. Let me do ever. I'm gonna go skip.
That works.
Probably. This is a funny one, but Bruce Hornsby with my parents in Florida. Best show I've ever seen. Just him and a piano.
Heck yeah.
Him and a piano. It was great. I could have said
What venue was it?
but he's one of my favorite old artists, and it was a damn good show.
As it should be. As it should be. That's awesome. I always talk about I saw 21 Pilots at 930 Club, if you know what 930 Club is.
Everyone in Nashville they like give out free shirts. And I swear to God, it's like, oh, I've been on tour. Let me wear my 9.
Let me flex.
Oh, I play. Yeah. Anyways. Sorry, Nashville.
I went to Nashville for the first time this year, and it was really interesting, the culture of people. Because I feel like there's two very different types of people, because we spent a lot of time in like East Nashville, and then just like it was just everybody, the equivalent of like, I've toured.
yeah, for sure. It's a cool town, but
yeah.
I'm grateful to be in New York for right now.
We'll get you a 930 Club shirt. I'll send you one.
That's really all I'm trying to do in music is get a damn 930 Club shirt.
And the free cupcakes. They give out free cupcakes too.
I love that you know that. Yeah.
Listen, I want a free cupcake. That's all I want. I want somebody to put me on their ballot as a photographer and give me a free cupcake. That's all I want in life.
We'll call it a day.
So when you play there,
I'll hit
let
you
me know.
Yeah.
So do you want to play a game called Quick Pick, where I make you quick pick a song? In the first scenario, that's a lot of words that I said wrong. Quick pick a song with a very specific scenario. The first song that comes to your head.
Let's do it. I don't know a ton of songs, but here we go.
That's okay. So the first one is you're walking home at night alone. The noise of the city hustle and bustle is calming down, and you need a song to get you home. The first song I think of is Evening I Will Not Forget by Dermot Kennedy. He's one of my favorite artists, so that's just one of my very warm songs.
Yeah. Okay, so go to train ride home. Probably the Immunity record from Clairo, something in there.
Oh yeah.
With the Closer to You, Bags, that whole spiel. Love her.
That one makes a lot of sense. Yeah. That's a great record too. The second one is you are playing a sport, whatever sport you may play. There you go. And you get to choose a walk-on song. What is your walk-on song? In very basic fashion, I pick Only Angel by Harry Styles.
Okay, so is it a pickup game of basketball? Is it an arena?
Let's say it's an arena. For some reason, you're playing. They're like, let's give him a walk-on song, his one shot to play in the NBA.
I'm gonna go Down, Jay Sean.
You know, you could have said any other song, and I'd be like, that, you know, I expected that. Not that one.
That song is a sleeper. Actually, it's not a sleeper. It's like a 2000s smash, but it's still amazing.
It is. It is. It's one of my favorites. There is one song that I hate from the early 2000s that you could say, and I probably would hang up the call. I wouldn't, but I would mentally. Dynamite by Tayo Cruz. I can't stand that song.
I love Tayo. Just kidding.
Is that what if I have to hear that song one more time, I'm out. I'm out.
You and Tayo got some beef.
Yeah, we're gonna fight next time he's in the DC area. I just can't stand it. And then the last one I have is you are driving home from a very bad date. The person you took on the date is in the car. It went terribly. You have to pick the song to steer the emotion.
She's still in the car.
Yeah, you picked her up. You drove her home. I picked "Getaway Car" from Taylor Swift.
That's a good one.
You could go various ways. So this is the one I ask like almost every time because I think it's hilarious.
I love it.
And I love saying out of the wall ones like "WAP."
There you go. Yeah.
Just say yeah. It's a power move at that point.
I think I do a touch use humor in areas I shouldn't in life, so I might go that direction. Maybe I might go down, Jay Sean.
A double whammy.
Maybe like a old Bruce Springsteen song that like really where he just screams. Maybe like The River, Bruce Springsteen. To where it's like you can't really talk over the music. You just kind of have to sit there.
Just drown it out. Like this is so awkward. Please just get out of my.
This is a 7-minute song and like there's a saxophone and nobody knows why.
And suddenly Jack Antonoff is turning into Bruce Springsteen. Well, thanks for playing. Now that I'm like, I could have gone anything with Pink Floyd and that would just like cut the energy right there.
I would have done it.
Wow. Well, thanks for playing. Hopefully it was fun. It's just really interesting to hear. I mean, again, I never would have expected Down by Jay Sean, but here we are with the double whammy.
That truly was the first thing that came to my head, which is so funny.
That's hilarious. So I have one final question for you. Musicians have the ability and the platforms to leave a mark on the world, either smaller or larger, in various ways. What is one mark you want to make as a musician?
I definitely, probably in the mental health arena, I would think, and that feels like such a, like, no-brainer, but I think the more and more artists can do that, the better. So, yeah, I really think, I hope, I try to write a lot about making sure you're like opening up with friends and telling people about your shit. And yeah, I would love to be able to support a nonprofit, their proceeds of touring and all that and merch, to some sort of thing that lined up with an area that I'm located in and they're doing something, for my community or, the greater community. So probably something in that arena, I would say. I hope my music does that for people or creates that space or opportunities to talk about it. And then as far as practically, definitely being able to just partner with somebody that knows what they're doing in that world, and pushing people towards that and creating conversation. So
absolutely. And I think that is obviously so important right now, probably more than ever for people our general age, because of the last year we've had. I mean, it's just really important to talk about that. And I think music is the perfect space because I think that so many people rely on music as kind of I don't want to say crutch, but as like an extra like hand to, helping them, get through something or whatever that looks like.
Yeah. And it hasn't happened a ton for me yet, but there has been times when people have reached out and just been like, hey, this has gotten me through a tough time. Those little things mean the world to me. So it's definitely an encourager to keep doing what I'm doing. So.
Absolutely. Well, Andrews, thank you so much for hanging out today.
Yeah. Thanks so much for having me.